regard. The ruthless demolitions in Eastlands, Nairobi, displacing 37,000 small business owners, are emblematic of a government that has lost touch with its people. The border riders, the mamambogas, the artisans, they are not mere statistics but the heartbeat of Kenya. Their resilience and ingenuity deserve recognition and support, not bulldozers and eviction notices. The informal sector is not a blemish to be erased by a dynamic force to be harnessed. Policies must be crafted with inclusivity at their core, fostering an environment where every Kenyan can pursue their livelihood with dignity and security. I now turn to the ninth point, which is agriculture, the heartbeat of our nation under siege. Agriculture remains the backbone of Kenya's economy, employing over 40% of the population and contributing 26% to our gross domestic product. Yet today, our farmers, the lifeblood of our nation, are under siege from a system that has turned its back to them. Let me just explain this by sharing the example of tea and coffee, from this prosperity to poverty. For decades, Kenyans' tea and coffee were the pride of our nation, known across the world for their quality and providing livelihoods for millions of smallholder farmers. But in recent years, these industries have been plunged into turmoil. Middlemen, exploitative cartels, and a lack of government oversight have led to the decimation of our tea and coffee sectors. A recent report by the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, revealed that despite increased global demand, tea farmers are earning 60% less than they did a decade ago. The situation is even worse for coffee farmers, who are being squeezed by global price fluctuations and domestic inefficiencies. Many smallholder farmers in Nyeri, Kericho, and Kiambu have been forced to uproot their tea bushes and coffee plants, planting maize or even abandoning farming altogether due to the meager returns on the once lucrative crops. The fake fertilizer scandal orchestrated by this regime callously undermined our food security and demonstrated the extent to which the ruling elite are willing to go to enrich themselves at the expense of starving Kenyans. The promises made by the government to reform these sectors remain largely unfulfilled. Farmers were assured that new policies will stabilize prices and increase their earnings, but these promises have yet to materialize. The tea bill passed last year has done little to curb the influence of powerful cartels that continue to manipulate prices and dominate the market. Now let's look at the plight of the smallholder farmer. Beyond tea and coffee, the wider agricultural sector faces challenges that cannot be ignored. Farmers in Rift Valley, Nyanza, and Western Kenya are battling with rising costs of inputs, fertilizer, seeds, and equipment, while receiving little to no support from the government. The rising cost of fertilizer, which has shot up to 40% in the past 2 years of this administration, has left many unable to afford basic supplies. As a result, food security has stagnated, leaving Kenya increasingly reliant on imports to meet its domestic needs. This is not just an agricultural crisis. It is a national security threat. As we fail to support our farmers, we place the very foundation of our nation at risk. Agriculture is not merely an industry. It is the heartbeat of our people, our history, our future. Without immediate intervention, we risk becoming a nation that cannot feed itself. I now turn to the last issue, which is on our youth. This regime continues to betray the youth who they promise to support and economic transformation. The bottom-up economic agenda has turned into a self-aggrandizement strategy for the regime, starting from Mr. Ruto himself, Instead of cushioning the youth during these harsh economic times and securing their future, the regime is a leech in every facet of our society, but most especially the youth who are our future. When the youth stand against this regime, they were killed, they were suppressed. All our youths are at risk at the hands of this regime. Funds for critical dockets such as education, health, and social economic projects are being siphoned away, mortgaging their future. In conclusion, we want to say as follows. Fellow Kenyans, the hour is late, but it is not too late. The challenges before us are formidable, but they are not insurmountable. We are the descendants of warriors, and we must fix this country. And this regime and freedom fighters of men and women who faced down imperial powers to claim our independence. The same indomitable spirit resides within us. Let us rise together, not in despair, but in hope. Let us reclaim the promise of our Constitution, holding our leaders accountable and demanding the governance we deserve. Let us stand as one people, and united by our love for this land and our unwavering belief in its potential. The future of Kenya is not written. It is ours to write, to shape. We are the architects of our common destiny. Let us all, in one accord, forge a path that honors our past, confronts our present, and secures a brighter tomorrow for generations to come. May God bless you all. May God bless Kenya.